Hi everybody, welcome to Central Idaho yet again, this time in the Lost River Valley near the little town of Mackay. It's a mining town. US 93, it's making a little bit of noise, but I'm following along with the Roadside Geology book and thought this was an interesting spot to film. It's still quite hazy here. So the spectacular Lost River Range that many of you know if you know this drive along 93 is really not up for photos today. But we do have these limestone beds from the Mississippian time that clearly were originally flat and have been folded like many of the Paleozoic sedimentary layers here. So I'm hoping to get over here and bang on a few rocks, see if we can find fossils possibly. But before I leave the car, let me go back into Paul's book. Had a wonderful time at the reunion, by the way, so I'm done with that. And so here's from the preface of the book, looking at the geologic time scale. Of course, we're back in the Precambrian and the Paleozoic and the Mesozoic and the Cenozoic. But these limestone layers are Mississippian in age. So you want to pick one number? Let's pick a nice round number. These limestone layers are 350 million years old. And deposition of the limestone, shale, and sandstones in a shallow marine setting along the passive margin on the west side of Laurentia. So this is still the passive margin, even though it's not Precambrian. We're still at the quiet western shoreline long before the terrains start arriving, the exotic terrains start arriving. And oh boy, I lost my mark here. Can I find it easily? I've been enjoying following, oh God, always have a hard time. Here we go, here we go, here we go. Nope. Yep. So I've been enjoying reading as I've been driving. That's a no-no, kids. Arco up to Chalice on US 93. These beautiful color maps. Zoom in for you a little bit. So I'm heading to Chalice. I opened the book at Arco, driving up 93. And we're at an outcrop again, just north of Mackay on the east side of the road. But please note that Mackay is a mining town, and that's because of the Mackay stock, which is just one example of the Chalice intrusions that are all through here. Chalice intrusive rocks, meaning plutons. So if you've been a fan of what I've been doing this year, I've been focused on the Chalice magmas of the Eocene, and I'm going to be coming back and talking about the Chalice magmas all through the Pacific Northwest. So the Mackay stock, with all sorts of symbols here saying there's all sorts of goodies, gold, silver, etc., is the story here for sure. Rancher just sped by. I guess that means he's okay for me being here. I wish I could show you the fault scarp from the Bora Peak earthquake 1983. Wish I could show you Bora Peak in all of its glory. Double Springs Pass, a very famous and favorite place of mine. The Pissimiroy Valley, I have fond memories of that valley with the pronghorn antelope. I enjoy Paul's label here. The head of the Pissimiroy River, considered by some the most beautiful spot in Idaho. Okay. So I got to come back when the weather's nice. I've never come up all the way to the head of the Pissimiroy, but I guess that must make sense. It must be gorgeous in there on the backside of Bora. Okay, so let's look at some of these Mesozoic limestones. I'll just keep it rolling and widen you back out. So that's limestone over there as well in the haze, but just over the ridge is the Mackay stock, and so therefore all sorts of goodies. Oh, let me Let's see if that I don't really know if this is public land or not, but let's just hope that I can get the benefit of the doubt. So the views are not good at all, you know, on the scale of looking across a valley, let's say. But I'd say the light is pretty damn good for this Mississippian limestone. So on an outcrop scale, one attractive thing is the visible bedding. These buff colors and these tans, clearly not horizontal any longer because of the folding. So in other words, these limestone layers were deposited, what was our number? 350 million years ago, horizontally. I don't know when they got folded. I guess I'll have to read some more. But I just out of the corner of my eye, oh my God, Daddy's getting excited. Just out of the corner of my eye, I think I saw, yep, I did. This thing right here, let me zoom for you. I don't know how many more I'm going to be able to find. That's a horn coral. So we've got fossilized corals. Oh, dang. I'm not even a fossil guy, but Dave Forsch at Idaho State University would go out horn coral hunting with me and a few others on a Sunday. This happens to be a Sunday morning. So Dave, thanks for the memories. Passed away a few years ago. Oh man, okay. So I think these are cherts. So black is the chert nodules that are all through here that are quite hard. Yeah, it's coming back to me now. I haven't looked at these Paleozoic limestones in a long time. This kind of gray, kind of elephant hide type stuff is the true limestone, but let's get to an outcrop that's a little bit more. Can I fight through this sage here? Well, I'm glad I stopped. I wasn't sure I wanted to stop here. In fact, I drove a few extra miles north, and I thought, that did look like a good spot. Maybe I should turn around, come back. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So I don't really know the depth of the water or the temperature of the water. I think we're kind of, well, I'm confused actually. So right off the bat, we're back to my typical approach where I'm asking more questions and giving you information. But I thought black chert like this, and I'm confident this is chert. I thought black chert was a kind of a deep water silica story. So there's like ribbons of this black chert. Am I wrong? Is this not chert? I think it is. I don't have any. I didn't pack any HCl for myself. Shame. So I'm conflicted, and maybe some people down in the comments below can help me out. Like, I thought the black chert represented a deep water story, but then if we have horn corals in the limestone, doesn't that mean we're in very shallow water, like a snorkeling paradise kind of a thing? Where you've got light penetrating to the floor and allowing those corals to grow in a reef, or I don't know what horn corals, are they in reefs or not? Wow, this is amazing. Well, let me try to find some just basic gray limestone to break off. Boy, it's not easy. Maybe right here. If I did bring some HCl, I'm sure this stuff would fizz like crazy. Oh, maybe this is all limestone. Maybe the black stuff is just limestone as well. I guess that'll be the simplest way to say it. If this is not chert and these are just lenses of, it's got to be chert, right? All right, so I'm getting lost in the details here. The basic message is these are beds of limestone from the old west coast of North America 350 million years ago. And this isn't the coast anymore, of course. And let's go up a little bit higher, see if I can find more of those corals, or maybe that's just a lucky find. Yeah, I need to get through over there. All right. That's a good looking limestone here. You're seeing little cleavage planes on some calcite crystals that grew in the limestone. I don't know if this looks like limestone in your world, but this is what I remember the limestone looking like here in central Idaho, Paleozoic. Let's get over here and see if we can find a couple things. Let's give you this to me is, if you're unfamiliar with limestone here in the arid west, this is kind of a look that's recognizable to me. I've mentioned a number of times that I spent 20 years teaching a field course down in the Owens Valley of California, and at the Polita Folds we had some Polita Formation limestone that we called the elephant hide. Just a casual term. Maybe, I don't know, maybe I came up with it or maybe whatever, but to me that's what this looks like. Just the hide of an elephant, kind of a gray, kind of mottled, kind of irregular. And let's break open a little bit of this, what I consider kind of classic Paleozoic limestone. Give you some detailed looks. Okay. So it might be darker in color than you might expect for a limestone, especially if you see the hide being this kind of muffler boy. Good Lord. It's a parade. Dune buggies or something. So the weathered surface is quite light gray and got these interesting, what I assume are calcite veins running through. Not quartz now, but calcite, because we're in a limestone. More muffler boys. If their goal is to be loud, they are succeeding. Do you see what I see? That there's kind of vertical layers of limestone here, but right over there, maybe I'll zoom in case I don't get over there easily, a beautiful little fold of some of these beds. Now, do I know when the folding happened here? I know that the limestone beds are 350 million years old. Can I really think about when the folding happened? I'm not sure I can. More really good looking limestone in general, and much harder than I expect. I've learned the focus in hand samples only works when I zoom in a little bit and then hold the hand up, so that's why I'm kind of manually kind of zooming you in and out. A couple of the ranchers didn't even bat an eyelash parking in their lane here, so I guess that means that they're used to geologists stopping and looking. I'm hoping that's the case. Yeah, this is fun. Let's get a couple more of these limestone guys open. I really like this look. 350 million year old marine rock. So weathered that tough to get a fresh surface. Let's get over and find this folded guy. Yeah, now that I see it, I'm not sure I'm that interested in climbing up there. I mean, I'm eager to please, but maybe not that much. It's kind of fun to think of these limestones kind of innocently hanging out here. Then they get folded, and then tens of millions of years later, maybe hundreds of millions of years later, they get intruded from below with these chalice invasions, these magmas eating their way up through. And what I learned at the reunion, which I'm kind of proud to share, is that my first Geology 101 class that I ever taught, the fall of 1987, had a kid named Ryan McDermott. And he's kind of the first official kid that I convinced to take more geology after 101. And I was just told that he's the big cheese here in the Chalice area. Like gold mining, I guess, but like he's like the boss of everybody. And he's flying to London regularly, where I guess he must have financial backing. But and my former advisor, Dave Rogers, is now consulting on occasion for Ryan. So boy, that's pretty cool. Maybe I'll get a chance to visit with Ryan next time I come down, and we can talk about his success with the Chalice mining scene. All right, well, from here we can't see the folding quite as well, so I don't think I want to go up there. But these beds are not only kind of steeply inclined, these guys fold over a little bit. They'll probably fold right over here. And you might be able to see across the way. You're looking across US 93 now. US 93, not US 97, right? That's the one in my neck of the woods. There's more of our Mississippian limestone there as well. If you're curious, the reunion was very enjoyable. I got to see many of the cats from my vintage in the 1980s. All quite successful in their own subfields. Some left geology completely, but still quite successful. I guess it's self-selecting, you know. If you're not successful, you don't go to reunions. But it was impressive to kind of hear what people have been doing. And the department that I remember, the faculty that I remember, were there. Paul Link, Dave Rogers, and Bill Hackett were my main guys. Tom Orr passed away a few years ago. Charlie Blunt was there in his 90s. But, you know, there are moments where it kind of catches you, like, oh, all right, I guess I'm getting up in years. Like, all of my classmates are talking about retirement. It's kind of weird to think about that. And many of the faculty now at ISU is, of course, a crop of young folks who don't really remember, they certainly don't remember the good old days, quote unquote, but they also certainly know of Paul and Dave, these guys, but I get the impression that they, you know, didn't really see them at their prime, which is kind of the view here. Now I gotta find this Where did I find that horn coral? Do you remember? Was it right there? How did I get up there? Here's the car. I guess I went up right here. Did I? Where did I go up? Right here? This wasn't. Oh yeah, that's it. All right. Well, I know there's thousands and thousands, maybe millions of horn corals. So I'm not going to feel too bad if I go up and get this guy out. If I free this guy. Where was it? Right there. Right there. I don't know. It's in there pretty good. Maybe I shouldn't mess with it. So I think I know what I'm looking at now. Here's another one. You're looking at the can you see that? You're looking at a cross section of a horn coral. Now the place Dave Force took me to, they were just sitting basically loose. And they were, I don't know, they look like cones. You'll have to Google horn coral, I guess. But yeah, this is for sure a cross section of a horn coral. If others are stopped here, I'm not sure they've noticed that, but thanks to Dave Force, I know kind of what I'm looking at. Come on, baby, come on, right there. So that's the tip of my hammer for scale. Let me get in as close as I can, and I'll try to hold as steady as possible. Get my finger in there. Okay, now I'm getting greedy. Can I find more? Well, you're still really zoomed, so let me get up here. I'll come out a little bit. That's one. This is the one that I noticed that's just sticking out of the face here. I can get up there with my finger. Hammer in my pocket. Yeah. Horn coral that grew in the ocean, that lived in the ocean. Horn coral that oh, Gizmo, please. Horn coral that lived in the ocean and now is hanging out here watching life in the 21st century. A guy baling hay right behind me. And now I'm starting to wonder if I can find a couple more. It seems like they're easiest to find in this kind of weathered stuff. Do you see others? I mean, these look circular, and I'm tempted to kind of work with them as well, but I'm not confident, so I'm not gonna. Wow, I can't believe I'm looking for fossils on my own time. I know some of you love fossils, and I do kind of, but not really, to be totally honest. Yeah, there's another one up there. There. So, interesting face. Mississippian limestone. Thanks to the authors of the second edition of Roadside Geology of Idaho. Helped encourage me to stop here just by following along as I drive. I'm thinking I'm going to find one more, but I guess I'm not. Thanks for watching this one. Mackay, Idaho, US 93, Mississippian limestones, horn corals, chert beds, geology. Thank you, I love you, and goodbye.